Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us on DFE News. I'm Jeff Kirk. A lot's happening in the news. Let's get right to it. The Israel-Iran conflict entered its seventh day Thursday, with President Trump calling for Iran's unconditional surrender. The supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah Khamenei, rejected the ultimatum and stated Iran would never surrender and launched additional strikes on Israel. The new attacks come a day after Israel destroyed Iran's internal security headquarters in Tehran. Exiled Iranian Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi, son of the deposed Shah, called for the Iranian people to rise up against the Ayatollah and reclaim Iran. Iran has been under the control of the Ayatollah since the Islamic Revolution in 1979. In what some are calling a victory for parents' rights and common sense, the Supreme Court upheld the state of Tennessee's ban on so-called gender-affirming care for minors. The Supreme Court ruled 6-3 along ideological lines to affirm that states have the right to protect children from irreversible medical procedures such as transgender surgery, puberty blockers, and hormone therapy. Chief Justice John Roberts, who wrote the majority opinion, says Tennessee is not in violation of the Constitution as the ban is not a form of discrimination. Besides Tennessee, the ruling is a victory for 24 other states who have implemented similar bans on irreversible gender treatments for minors. CPS, or Child Protective Services, operates under different umbrellas in different states. Sometimes it's through DHS or Department of Human Services. But are they always protective of children, or can CPS sometimes take children away wrongfully? Cynthia Becker, an activist who helps families when CPS gets it wrong, joins us now to discuss this. So Cynthia, you've had your own run-in with CPS. Can you share with us a little bit about your story?
Yes, I can. So back in 2017, after being a mom for several years to two beautiful children, I was accused of being on illegal substances that I was not, and my children were wrongfully and illegally taken without any investigation. I went from seeing my children every day and being with them all the time to having supervised visits one time a week for 2 hours in a small room with somebody watching over my shoulder. Had to go through several classes, had to go to court constantly, and eventually it progressed to where I did get my children back. But again, it was a very long, treacherous year and a half where it was very traumatizing for me and my children.
So there's a video from February making the rounds on social media again that shows a mom who live streamed a physical fight with her son. Are we able to show that video? Cynthia, can you explain to us what's happening here in this video?
Yes, sometimes CPS does and does not get it right. I've seen a lot of illegal kidnapping, as I like to call it, where they take the kids wrongfully from parents. But there are times where kids do need to be taken from parents who are, abusing their children. In this video, the mom is screaming and verbally abusing her child. You can see that child is very fear driven from the mother. That's not the mom. The mom is the one recording. The child did call the mom the B word, but the mom, again, who's recording, will not stop cursing at the child. There's other small children around. I do believe the child and other children were taken from the mother, which in this case, I do believe to have been a right move on the department's side, but to offer her classes and services and hopefully reunification if the mother did go through those services. I believe that's the mom right there. And in other circumstances where the children, are abusive towards the parents and the parents are just trying to raise possibly strong-willed children or disabled children on the spectrum, and they need extra services. That's where I feel like it's illegal and wrongful to take those children, and I think that that's when the department can step up and walk alongside the parents and help them with raising the children and offering stronger services instead.
So you mentioned that in many cases, CPS does get things wrong, and you call these the the legal kidnappings, do you think that there's something deeper going on with CPS, some type of ulterior motive?
I do. People don't realize that it is a billion-dollar industry. It goes beyond just taking the kids. After they remove the children from the parents, the children go into the foster department, where then foster parents are getting a paycheck to have these kids. Now, I know a lot of amazing foster parents, but there are a lot of really bad people out there that are just there for the paycheck. After the foster parents, then there's the adoption, where people just want kids, and sometimes kids go missing out of the system that are promised to go back to their families, which is the reunification services, and they're supposed to go back to their promised bio parents, and instead they end up getting adopted out. And I hate using this word, and a lot of people don't like to associate it with the child protective services, but it is child trafficking, where they're swapping children for money. And again, that's why it is a billion-dollar industry, and people don't realize that.
So obviously not an easy process to undo. So what advice would you give to parents if CPS were to show up at their doors unexpectedly?
Number one, know your rights today. Whether you've ever had an encounter with them or not, know your rights. Start Googling it. I offer my information down below, as you can see. Call me and I'll give you some free information. As well as, like I said, you can Google it. But CPS does not, I can't think of the word, but they don't go after a specific stereotype, whether you have money or you don't, whether whatever color you are, they don't care. It doesn't matter who you are, they will go after you. So don't talk to them whether there's cops there or not. And if you do talk to them for whatever reason, obtain a legal uh, um, help right away. Get an attorney immediately. Do not try to fight them on your own at all.
Yes. Well, Cynthia, thank you for all of your insight, and thank you for taking the time to speak with us. Again, if anyone has any questions or needs more information, Cynthia's contact information was below. She encourages anyone to reach out with questions or concerns. Cynthia, thank you again. Republican Senator Rand Paul, one of the primary opponents of President Trump's big, beautiful bill, revealed on Tuesday what could lead him to vote yes. The senator, who previously opposed the bill for raising the debt ceiling and not cutting enough spending, says he's not an absolute no on the bill. He says if the issue of the debt ceiling were separated from the rest of the bill, he can get behind the tax cuts, which he says will increase revenue. President Trump has been critical of Rand Paul's opposition to the bill, but spoke with him over the phone about ways to get the senator to vote yes. The bill faces a July 4th target deadline. Coffeehouse mega chain Starbucks announced it will be making changes to its menu items to align with the Make America Healthy Again agenda. Starbucks CEO Brian Niccol met with Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Tuesday and said that while Starbucks already avoids using high fructose corn syrup and artificial dyes and flavors in its products, it would be taking additional steps to further MAHA their menu. Starbucks joins both the Kraft Heinz Company and General Mills in removing all artificial dyes from its products in the next 2 years. For our final story, archaeologists in Canada have succeeded in translating runes on a mysterious tablet discovered in Ontario in 2018. The stone, which contains over 250 Nordic runes, or letters in various alphabets, was found near the town of Wawa along the shore of Lake Superior, about 100 miles north of Michigan's Upper Peninsula, and appears to be several hundred years old. Ryan Primrose, an archaeologist from the Ontario Centre for Archaeological Education, says the Nordic runes form the words of the Lord's Prayer in Swedish. Researchers also said the Hudson Bay Company hired many Swedish workers to man outposts in the 1800s, which indicates the site could have been used as an outdoor place of worship. Well, that's it for now. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, comment, and engage so the social media platforms push it out to more viewers. Thanks for watching DFE News, news done right. See you next time.